Hey, welcome back everyone. Today's video is going to be an update PvE Masterclass video focusing on the mobs and the Crypts. Obviously these are going to carry over a bit for the ruins. We'll do the Goblin Caves in a separate video, but let's talk about parrying skeletons and the other mobs, the zombies, the mummies, the two elites in the Crypts. Skeleton footman is probably the easiest out of all of them. You can see how the spacing can be a little wonky, but horizontal, aim at the shoulder, about a full skeleton's character model to the left or so, maybe a little more. You can be pretty loose with this one. You can aim a little lower, but if you aim a little too high, you can miss it. You need to be careful. Now, the vertical slash doesn't have a lot of forward momentum. Sometimes you have to aim a little further left, but often you can just put the crosshair around ribcage height, I should say, on the left side and parry it very consistently. But like I said, everything with the longsword is about spacing. If you get too close, even when you have the crosshair in the right spot, it'll hit you. You can see how the vertical attack doesn't hit us here, right? Even if we didn't parry it, it would miss. If we put our hands in the way, it hits us, right? The parry posture changes our foot and arm position. So keep in mind, positioning is still key in PvE, just like PvP. The skeleton guardsman is a waste of time to parry. Don't do it. I'll show you here. You can see how easy it is for you to miss. Pushing too far back, pushing too far left. But the best way to do it is to line up, shift left slightly as he swings, and that is the only chance to parry that vertical attack. It's super inconsistent though, sadly. You'll see it go through the weapon twice, two different areas, and then just smoke us after. So if he's doing the vertical attack, don't try and parry it. Skeletons always kite to the right on thrusts. You can kind of sometimes get a parry off them, but the idea that you want to do is get in tight. If you get this close to them, it forces them into this vertical attack pattern, and it is just perfectly easy to parry it. If you're worried, kite slightly left and aim up, and it works perfect. If you're a little bit further away, it pushes them into this sweep attack, which you can catch at the butt of the spear very consistently. All right. This is very easy. Spear skeletons, push into them. Always. The axe menace. Overhead attack, kite right, turn to the left, and catch it. All right. The horizontal attack is tricky. The spacing is tight. It's easy to get hit in the arms by the half of the weapon. It's easy to get hit in the arms by the head with poor spacing. But what you want to do is bait out that overhead attack so you can get the easy riposte damage, so that if you don't have a good weapon, you can two-shot them with like a gray or white longsword. All right. This is why you can see here the vertical attack, how tight it is. I aim too far right. It's hard to get the spacing, so sometimes it's better to just back up or duck under the attack, bait out the overhead. All right. It isn't always optimal to parry. The zweihander is pretty easy too. The spacing is a little closer than you might think. He doesn't have a big reach forward with his swings. He steps forward on the second one, but the zweihander itself doesn't seem to have a big reach. All right. Also, inconsistent. You could see there, it swings right through us and through the sword, and then the next one seems like it's doing the same thing, but it hits us. Best way to deal with these guys is to crouch in front of them and look up to catch a parry. All right. You can see right here how we look up. It's very rare that they will catch you or hit your arms, and it's more consistent than anything else with hitting the parry. All right. You can see how it went through on the previous one, and then this one it goes through and it catches this time. All right. Mummies. The only attack you really need to be able to parry is the lunge. Aim the crosshair directly at the left shoulder, slightly off the left shoulder. It'll parry it almost every time, even when you're uptight. All right. Skeleton archers, I've taught you before, but tip of the blade off the right shoulder. All right. And when you're pushing in, don't hesitate to use the first riposte to make sure you get the chance to trigger it. All right. You don't want to miss triggering it and then get shot. That skulls you can parry very reliably. You can see here, off. Don't aim at their head. All right. I did it a few times to test. Doesn't work at all. Best spot is about one wing's distance to the left. Parry them every time. Right here. Directly in line with the middle of their head, roughly. At the end of their wing on the left side. And it works every single time. Alright. You can get a little above. But if you go too high up, like right here, too far up above, goes right under the tip of the blade. Alright. And it looks like it goes through it, but it goes right under. So, crosshair on the left wing. Skull high, right in the middle. Consistently every time. Almost never a reason to parry these guys, but an easy way to deal with them is if you have space behind you is to kite them. You can keep them literally at the tip of the blade of the longsword and walk them back for all 4 hits that you need. Skeleton Champion. This guy is a menace now. I used to have a lot more dialed position for parrying him, but honestly, the second one is the hardest, and this is where you aim. Right on his knee. Literally, right off his knee. And it works very well. For the first attack, you aim about shoulder height. Off to the left, what? 2 character models? 1 character model? And you can get pretty consistent with the first one. The issue is you can rarely get a riposte off. Because when you're close enough to parry, he continues the combo chain very often. Alright? Now, the easiest way to deal with skeleton champions is obviously to backstep, backpedal, keep an open space if you have it, and land pokes over time. Alright? But if you're getting ballsy and you want to try and get consistent with it, these are the spots you're aiming for, and it will considerably speed up your time killing him. Just be careful you don't greed. Alright? Don't greed and try to get 2 ripostes in and trade damage. You can see how tight it is. If you're too close to spacing, you'll never catch that second attack. Since he has such good forward momentum with his attack chain, it can be very difficult. Always be backstepping. And if you parry, try and trade, but if you can't, look for pokes. Alright? Look for pokes. Play it smart. You don't always have to parry. Alright, guys. We'll let this clip play out so you can see him dying. And how we actually can kill him 1 versus 1 with just a gray longsword. Alright. Alright. Fight him back. Don't greed so many parries like I did. The Wraith is a lot more consistent. You want to parry the side attack and crouch under the dash. Alright. The dash has been inconsistent for parrying. All I do is crouch down, stay in place. You have to aim very far left on the slash attack though. Alright. You can see, the closer he is, almost the further left you have to aim too. If you get your distance well, he'll miss you and catch the longsword as you tip it out to the left. Alright. You'll very rarely get 2 ripostes in without having agility. So be careful with that. That's a greedy play. You'll often get hit. You can see here how we're aiming literally off the screen because our positioning's too tight. Alright. So keep in mind that sometimes you have to do that if you're too close to the Wraith. But just like that, off to the left, you can see how short his attack can be, and he can just miss you short of the blade even when you think it's going to hit. But the Wraith is very easy to solo. You don't need stairs, you don't need cheese, just be confident, take some time and learn it. It'll be definitely worth your time, guys. But that's about all I got for you guys today. I'll be back in the next PvE Masterclass video with the Goblin Caves to show that off for you guys. I'm still working on getting clips for the PvP Masterclass videos. Hopefully get enough of them over the weekend so I can start making some more videos. But for now, that's it. As always, take care. Be safe.